name is Gail. I'm a trustee with CLL Support. I'm mostly involved with the helpline and with the conferences, and I help Nora Grant with her under 60s WhatsApp group. I don't have CLL myself, my husband does. I had a diagnosis in 2017, and I don't think it came as a terrible shock, I'll be perfectly honest. I knew something was wrong, and therefore the diagnosis was somewhat of a relief rather than a shock. I think some people, particularly on the helpline, I noticed that some people are deeply shocked that it comes out of the blue. I think with CLL, the issue is there's so many different ways to deal with diagnosis. You could be expecting it, it could be a terrible shock, you could be somewhere in between. Then my husband had treatment fairly soon, and again, I suspect he'd had it for 5-10 years before, really. So treatment fairly soon, and then got MRD negative. And he's the sort of person that says if he's been told he's MRD negative, then that's fine. So again, he then just went and lived his life. Didn't really waited for a few months afterwards, but then just went and lived his life, and has done up until COVID. And that, I suspect, is why COVID is difficult for many people with CLL, because they were just living their lives, particularly ones on watch and wait. That's a very interesting question, and I don't think that we're typical of a CLL family, so I think that's my first point. Obviously, at the very beginning of the pandemic, we were as terrified as everybody else, and we went into complete and utter isolation, wiping everything down, doing what everybody else did. My husband was then very lucky to get on the Provent trial and had the injection of Evershed, and then he was very lucky to be called back by the Provent team to have a second injection of Evershed. And that, I would say, changed our lives and did allow us to get together with all our family and, to, as you say, to get on board with the general population. So I realise that we're a very lucky family in that respect, and I would push for access for everybody in that regard. But so it affected us in two ways. Pre-Evershed and post-Evershed were completely different. Obviously, the vaccinations, he's had 4 vaccinations and we'll have a 5th soon. That's where we are. Sure, it's incredibly difficult for people who feel they've had no response to the vaccinations and who haven't been able to access Evershed. I speak to people on the helpline daily who are terrified of going out. For us, and again, I feel we're not a typical CLL family, having 2 doses of Evershed has been a life changer, a complete and utter game changer. I'm using the same words, but I would press for access for everybody, because it is a way of allowing people to get together, as you said, get on board with the general public. He was also incredibly lucky that when he did get COVID, I don't think Evershed stops you getting COVID. I'm not a doctor, but it certainly didn't stop him getting COVID. But he had sotrovimab within 5 hours of diagnosis and felt better within 24 hours, whereas I felt ill for 3 weeks, and I haven't got any underlying health conditions at all. So I think that we've been exceptionally lucky. And we pushed very hard to get the sotrovimab, and I think that I would stress everybody, if you feel that you've got COVID, do the PCRs, get access to the drugs. But I think also a lot of people are still sitting at home waiting for a jab of Evershed, which would be a huge game changer. The Evershed has made an enormous difference in terms of navigating the general population and the general world, because the confidence it's given has been immense in terms of feeling that you've got the antibodies within you, and he knows he's got the antibodies within him. And I think confidence is a major thing for people with CLL. They worry about their infections, they worry about all sorts of things. And COVID, is still a killer. In terms of navigating the world, I think just be aware of your situation, keep in touch with your professionals, and make sure you get the drugs if you get it. We have World CLL Day coming up. Please, please, please consider people who are less fortunate than you, that perhaps are immunocompromised or are concerned about getting infections for all sorts of reasons. They may be wearing masks. Please give them consideration and love and respect, really. But CLL Day is a very important day. And please also push for Evershed for everyone. Equality of access to it, I believe that would be a game changer.